I have not paid a single dollar to fly to and from my last 6 holiday destinations, and today I'm going to explain how you could be doing the same. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Reese, and in today's video, I'm going to be overviewing how I generate enough points to be able to pay for large portions of the holidays that I go on. This video is going to be broken into 3 parts, where part 1 is going to provide context on what I actually get out of doing this. Part 2 will cover how I do it, and I'll go over a couple of examples and provide some resources that I use to find hot deals, and part 3 will be for any other notes and considerations worth mentioning. So let's get straight into it. Part 1, context. You can do a lot with flyer points. Ever since I began generating points through various methods, which I'll touch on shortly, I have been able to fly for free to any destination. I have also booked hire cars and paid for portions of my accommodation when traveling to and from these destinations. Flights may be cheap, but free is better. I estimate that I have saved somewhere in the realm of 5,000 Australian dollars just on flights alone, and then a further $5,000 on travel costs and accommodation just from using points. And this is just the new norm for me. If this stays constant, I will never need to pay for a flight to any destination in the entire world for the foreseeable future, and potentially even for the rest of my life. And that in a nutshell is context. So let's now move on to the how do I do this, which is part 2. There are so many ways to generate points that theoretically, if you're spending money, you should be earning points in some capacity. Within Australia, which is important for my situation because that's context of where I live, there are many ways to generate points for everyday purchases, and the more opportunities that you capitalize on to generate these points, the bigger your bag of points will get and the cheaper your holidays will be, because you'll be able to further subsidize them by using these points. The hands down best way to earn points fast and in large sums is through credit card churning. And for those who don't know, credit card churning is where you sign up for a credit card. You then have to meet a specific set criteria, which is usually a minimum spend within a certain period of time, where once you meet that minimum spend or you meet that criteria, you're rewarded with points, generally in the tens of thousands, if not the hundreds of thousands, depending on the deal. To find the best credit card deals within Australia, I highly recommend using 2 resources in particular, being OzBargain and PointsHack. And I've actually made a video explaining the ins and outs of how OzBargain works and what its sister websites for different countries are. Feel free to give that video a watch if you're interested in the resource. I've linked it down in the description below. And now would actually be a really good time to quickly hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help the channel grow. I really appreciate the support, and it does not go unnoticed. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to do that. Anyway, let's talk more about PointsHack, taken straight from the about page of the website. PointsHack's mission is to help as many as possible earn the most points they can and use them the most effectively for their travel goals. PointsHack really is your one-stop shop to get all the info you need on any current deals, what their criteria is to qualify for a deal, and how to best go about signing up for them. I suggest browsing through the website. It is pretty intuitive. Now, just quickly, something worth noting about credit card churning is that I personally will only sign up to a deal if there is no fee attached. Generally, there are fees attached, and is something to definitely take into consideration when looking at signing up for one of these deals. My usual method, and for what I would expect most to be doing, is that you sign up for the deal, you meet the minimum criteria, you get your points, and then you cancel the card, making sure that the card has been paid off in full every single month before interest accrues, meaning in my situation, I pay $0. I have no extra expenses, but I get rewarded for paying for things out of my pocket that I would be paying for every single day. I put my bills on it. I put my groceries on it. I put any leisure purchases that I would be making at any point throughout the week, the month, the year, when I have that credit card in active use. I put them all through the card. And like I say, I reap the rewards from it. Truthfully, in these situations, the only real negative is that you have to spend some of your free time going through the application process, which can take a little bit of time depending on who the card is going to be with. And just to set the scene with credit card churning in particular, I have done this to generate over 500,000 Qantas frequent flyer points since I started signing up for these credit cards, which is the equivalent to 2 first-class tickets to anywhere in the world, approximately valued at $32,000. $100. That's credit card churning in a nutshell. Let's move on, but still kind of on the topic of credit cards here. The next way that I generate points is through my everyday credit card. For every dollar that I put through this card, I generate points, and it was offered to me as part of my home loan package. And for many, it probably is an option worth exploring. I have put approximately $250,000 through that credit card since I first opened my home loan or my mortgage, which was about 4 years ago, generating me roughly 200,000 Qantas frequent flyer points in that time. Realistically, my mortgage is going to be open for a really long time, so every dollar that I'm spending should be going through that card to make my money work for me in a positive light. Now, like I said just before, there are many ways to generate points. Specifically, the examples I'm about to give are within Australia, but wherever you are in the world, there are probably programs which will have you earning rewards for spending your hard-earned dollars. I'm just going to go through a few examples just to paint the picture now of how many opportunities there are available. Woolworths is a popular supermarket which allows you to convert everyday rewards points to Qantas frequent flyer points. Origin Energy is offering an incentive when you use them as an energy provider. You can gain points when you book accommodation through partnered hotels, which I actually just did on my last holiday, which was at the beautiful Sheraton Mirage Hotel in Port Douglas, Australia, which was a hell of a lot of fun. And finally, there are bounties which are offered through the Qantas Mall to generate you Qantas frequent flyer points as just one very specific example, which can have you earning multipliers on your normal earnings potential. I suggest having a scroll through the deals page on Points Hack to see what other offers are out there depending on when you're watching this video. And just quickly as well, I'm going to give you one example of how I stack multipliers to earn points for single purchases. Remember that I generate points for every dollar spent on my credit card. If I do a shop at Woolworths, the big supermarket chain here in Australia, I will generate everyday rewards points, which can be converted into frequent flyers. I can also do that shop online through the Qantas Mall, which adds some bounties potentially, or even multipliers to the points that I'm generating. So that's 3 levels of stacking there. I'm earning points for spending dollars through my credit card. I'm earning points through everyday rewards by spending money at that specific shopping center or supermarket. And then I'm earning multipliers on that by hunting bounties where I was going to do my grocery shopping at that shop anyway. And I'm earning points off of one single purchase, but in 3 different ways, which definitely helps to adding up quickly. It really does add up over time. It's something to definitely understand because there are many benefits to doing this. The benefit in this instance is theoretically I could be earning several thousand points for just doing one single shop. And there are plenty of other ways to stack earning points, which may be something I cover more in depth in a future video. So let's move on to the final part of today's video, being part 3, extra notes and considerations worth taking into account. The first thing I want to mention is that flyer points have lots of different use cases, which offer some pretty good opportunities outside of just buying plane tickets to go to a destination. As I've mentioned throughout the video, you can use points to book other forms of travel, such as a hire car and potentially your accommodation, depending on where you're going to stay. You can also use your points to make purchases of goods. And just one example would be the Qantas website, where you can actually buy things on the website using just your points alone. And my favorite thing to do with points, which I do believe is still the best option of how to capitalize on the points you have, that is to be able to upgrade your flights from whatever economy flight you have to business and even first class in some circumstances. And Points Hack will explain how to do that. If you want to find the articles, they are on the website. Go have a hunt. It's a pretty good deal depending on how many points you have and where you're traveling to. The next consideration worth mentioning is to join some of these programs. Like, let's use again the Qantas frequent flyer program or the Velocity program, which are 2 very common ones here in Australia. There usually is a fee that you need to pay to sign up for them. Points Hack again has explainers on how to get around this to not have to pay that fee. And I highly recommend reading those articles so you don't get smacked with a $50 to $100 fee, depending on how much it is at the time that you're researching into it. Just understand that there are ways to get around it. And I guess as the responsible person that I am, I should mention that when signing up for credit card deals, make sure you're treating it as if that money that you're going to be spending to generate those points is coming directly from your bank account. That is the smart way to handle this. Do not spend money unnecessarily on things just to chase points and earn points. It's not worth it in the long run. I have to stress that a little bit. Treat it very seriously because racking up credit card debt chasing points is not going to be good for your finances. And I'll even go a step further to say that when signing up for credit cards, understand the criteria in full. Some credit cards will have a minimum spend, which may be in the several $1,000 mark within a certain time frame. Generally 3 months is ones that I've seen pretty regularly and pretty commonly. Make sure that if you have the income, you understand that you can meet those spend requirements, but if you don't have the income, it may not be a viable option. It's something definitely to understand before just basically going through that whole process to realize that you're not going to spend $3,000 to $5,000 in the next 90 days. And the final note worth mentioning is that some rewards programs allow you to transfer points you earn between direct family members and partners, which is a really beneficial thing to know because then it effectively doubles your generation points capacity. If you both sign up for a really good credit card deal and then mash those points together, it's going to be effectively doubling of your earnings potential, which is a really easy way to rack up points fast. Overall, personally for me, it has been a fantastic opportunity to reduce the cost of the holidays that I have been going on over the past 4 years and will be something I do well into the future, putting more money into my pocket either for saving or to actually spend and enjoy on the holiday itself. I highly recommend that if you're spending a lot of money at the moment but not earning for those dollars that you're spending, definitely look into these programs because they have a lot of benefits when you're realistically going to be spending the money anyway. And that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope it was insightful. I hope you learned something. I hope that I gave you something to think about and take away from this video to actually go and do something that might benefit you in the future. I'd love to see a comment one day saying, I generated this many points and I went on this holiday basically for free or at a very, very cheaper cost because of it. Thank you very much. That's the goal. That's what I want to get out of this video. So hopefully that's your takeaway with that. With that being said, I'm going to leave you there. Have a good day. Have a good week. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.